Daffy Duck is the most despicable, delusional, dastardly, deceitful dimwit I have ever seen. It's like someone combined the worst parts of DW, Norman Price, and Horrid Henry into some unholy turducken of terribleness. Hey everyone, so I was recently commissioned to talk about the Looney Tunes Show, specifically the animated sitcom that ran on Cartoon Network from 2011 to 2013. While most people had mixed reactions to the show itself, the one thing everyone agreed on was that Daffy Duck is the most horrible character on the show.
You see what a horrible person I am. See what happens when you people don't let me read your mail?
I've been looking for a new cartoon brat to tear into, and where better to start than with the episode where Daffy steals his best friend's money to buy a yacht. Also, thanks again to said patron for commissioning this video. If there's a cartoon you want me to talk about, you can sign up at patreon.com/mattneff to become one of my top tier patrons, where you'll get early access to all of my uncensored videos, as well as exclusive content not available on my main channel. Also, make sure to subscribe so we can hit 60,000 subscribers and I can finally release my review for Elmo in Grouchland. Trust me, you all have no idea how insane this movie is. Let's not waste any more time and delve right in. This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Make sure to subscribe and help get this video to 5,000 likes. Daffy and Bugs are driving down the interstate in the Dastardly Duck's Deathmobile. Daffy has gone into a literal blind rage, since he can't see a damn thing on the road. Bugs points out the irony of Daffy's car being both a giant blind spot and a massive eyesore.
It's not a car, it's a parade float.
Are you leading a one-man baby bitch parade? Daffy tries to cut across 5 lanes of traffic and ends up running off the road. Daffy refuses to apologize for nearly getting his roommate killed and instead blames him for getting the float dirty, because Daffy clearly can't see past the bump on his own beak. Bugs decides he doesn't want to die today and bails before Daffy can reenact the opening scene from Final Destination 2. Daffy gets to the car wash and somehow manages to get the float inside, even though it's clearly taller than the building.
Is that a parade float?
It's my parade float.
Daffy, don't be touching other people's kids. Everything seems fine, until Daffy remembers what happens when you put paper mache in water. The doofus duck watches in horror as his parade float melts faster than the Wicked Witch of the West. Instead of getting the manager to stop the conveyor belt, Daffy runs inside the car wash to try to save his float from being flooded. Sadly, the car wash doesn't crush Daffy to a pulp, as he somehow manages to walk away after getting the world's roughest rim job. Daffy weeps over the tattered remains of his once beloved parade float, which is more tears than anyone will shed for him when he dies. Back at home, Bugs is making a ham and cheese sandwich with honey, for some f***ing reason, when Daffy barges in crying that the only thing he's ever cared about has been destroyed. He locks himself in the room that he doesn't pay for and proceeds to spend the next several months wallowing in his own self-pity. What are we watching, Twilight now? Go figure the ugly duckling would want to imitate Bella Swan. Bugs goes upstairs to make sure Daffy isn't dead, only to discover his pity parade was just a ruse to guilt Bugs into building him a new float. And if that's not some psychopathic shit, I don't know what is.
I didn't make you a parade float.
Do me a favor and do that like 50 more times. Bugs tells Daffy to suck it up and just drive a normal car, even though he clearly shouldn't be driving at all. Daffy admits he needs a parade float to distract from the fact that he's a horrible trash person.
Normal cars are for normal people. I'm not normal.
Wow, that's the first thing he said I actually agree with. Bugs says there isn't a vehicle big enough to distract from Daffy's enormous ego, and the foul waterfowl takes that as a personal challenge. Daffy decides to buy a yacht to compensate for not having a soul, but just like his heart, his bank account is an empty void. Daffy begs Bugs to lend him $375,000 to buy the boat, and the rabbit tells him to buy it with the money he saved up from his own job. Oh wait, since Daffy can't exploit his richest friend, he next tries to get the money from his dumbest friend. Daffy tells Porky Pig he needs the money for an emergency kidney transplant, and the gullible goober hands over the cash without a second thought.
Of course I'll give you the $375,000.
Why the hell would you have that much cash on hand? Do you not believe in banks? Daffy is abhorred that Porky only has $350,000 to give him. He decides to make up the difference by taking Porky's grandfather's watch and even the clothes off his back. Daffy doesn't even give Porky so much as a goddamn thank you, as he wastes no time in buying his vanity yacht. The self-righteous seaman blows his load on the poop deck, while his best friend is left to starve in squalor. Bugs finds Porky eating trash and rightfully chews him out for giving all his money to Daffy.
Why would you give all your money to Daffy?
Because I'm an idiot. Happy?
Bugs goes to confront the deceitful duck on his ill-gotten yacht, which he's dubbed the Queen of the Ocean, a basic-ass boat name for a basic-ass boat bitch. Daffy shamelessly admits he conned Porky to buy the boat, and the pissed-off porker beats the ever-loving shit out of him. F***ing finally!
Guys, get him! Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him!
Bugs watches sardonically as Daffy gets an ass-whooping that's 80 years overdue. Daffy tries to save his own tail feathers by giving the most backhanded apology he can muster. He says he only lied because he didn't think Porky would give him the money if he knew it was for a boat.
I wouldn't have. You just proved my point.
Sadly, Bugs stops Porky from pummeling the dubious duck into foie gras. Daffy refuses to sell the boat, even though Bugs says he'll be losing Porky as a friend.
Yeah, but those are easy to get when you have a yacht.
Daffy, you could buy the entire NBA and you still wouldn't have any friends. The trio are horrified to find the yacht has drifted out into the middle of the ocean. Daffy doesn't understand how this could have happened, as he's apparently a bigger rope bunny than his literal bunny friend. Daffy reveals he tied knots around everything except the dock, but at least they have enough rope to hang Daffy from the masthead. Porky rightfully assumes they're all going to die, but Bugs says they can get back to shore by putting up the sail. If they had one! Daffy claims he couldn't afford one, but apparently could afford to install a hot tub. On a boat. Daffy again tries to blame Porky for their misfortune, saying he should have given him more money to buy a sail.
I gave you everything I had! The fact that you're not more financially successful is not my fault.
Hey Porky, remember when you tried to kill him like 5 minutes ago? What happened to all that rage? Turns out Daffy didn't buy a radio either, as he instead chose to install another goddamn hot tub. At this point, Bugs and Porky have no excuse not to boil Daffy alive. The negligent narcissist chooses to ignore the crisis in favor of soaking in his own shame. The trio remains stranded throughout the night, until Daffy comes up with a bright idea of making Porky swim to shore in the dark. He's about to throw him overboard when Bugs reveals he made a sail out of Daffy's bougie bed sheets, which he apparently bought instead of getting life jackets.
Do you know how much these sheets cost?
This motherfucker. Daffy tries to tear down the sail out of spite when Bugs does what he should have done a long time ago. Don't get your hopes up, he's just unconscious. Bugs resists the urge to toss the brain-dead duck into the ocean, and instead elects to tie him up to the mast. Looks like Bugs is a rope bunny after all. Porky is so happy that his 5 o'clock shadow magically vanishes from his face. It would seem all's well that ends well as the trio sail back to shore. And then Daffy wakes up. Daffy begs Porky to untie him so he can be the hero of the story. Daffy proceeds to glaze Porky like honey-baked ham. He claims he's learned his lesson and wants nothing more than to give his best friend a hug.
Have you ever known me to lie?
You lied about it and needing a kidney transplant.
That's in the past.
Sure. The pea-brain pig falls for Daffy's ruse and then gets promptly thrown overboard by his supposed best friend. Who could have seen that coming? Bugs dives in after Porky, leaving Daffy to go down with the ship. Daffy ironically now has exactly what he wanted, a fancy boat all to himself with nobody around to call him on his bullshit. He quickly realizes that being left alone with his thoughts is a fate worse than death, and decides to drown himself to put an end to his misery.
I regret nothing!
So that's it then. He's dead, right? The nightmare's finally over? Sadly, no. Daffy wakes up in the hospital and assumes the whole ordeal was just a dream, since there's no way he could be that horrendous in real life. Actually, he can. Bugs shows up at Daffy's bedside to give him a hot dose of reality.
You are a horrible person.
Why couldn't you have said that 20 minutes ago? Bugs reveals they sold the yacht to get Porky's money back, and Daffy almost has a heart attack. Almost. Surprise, surprise, it turns out Daffy really does need a kidney transplant, and will have to pay for the surgery out of his own pocket.
But I'm sure you have insurance.
What kind of insurance would a duck have anyway? So you would think after all of this, Bugs and Porky would be more than justified in turning their backs on Daffy. I mean, it's not like after all the crap Daffy put them through, they would feel obligated to help him in his time of need, right? Right? We then cut to 1 week later, as it turns out Daffy got the transplant. God, quit blueballing us with these near fatalities and just kill the damn duck already. How the hell did he swing that one anyway?
Not after you paid for my kidney transplant. Don't mention it.
What the hell, Bugs? This was your way out. You were almost rid of him for good. Wait, where did he get the kidney from?
I'm still not feeling 100% since the surgery.
Are you kidding me? Porky, this man conned you out of the clothes off your back, and now you don't even blink twice when he asks you for a kidney? And why the hell are you building him a new parade float? Did he at least say thank you after you gave him your kidney?
Oh, here we go. You still have the other one.
Oh, go yourself. Let's review. Daffy wrecked his car out of sheer incompetence, and then tried to guilt his best friend into buying him a new one. When that didn't work, he conned his only other friend into giving him all his money so he could buy a vanity boat. When Daffy got called out on his high seas con job, he felt absolutely no regret or shame for robbing his friend of his life savings. He then proceeded to get everyone stranded in the middle of the ocean, and didn't lift a finger to try to solve the problem. Instead of letting Bugs save the day, Daffy tried to make himself the hero, but only managed to make things worse, and nearly got himself killed in the process. And when karma finally came knocking at Daffy's door, his enabler friends bailed him out at the 11th hour, ensuring Daffy will continue to be a manipulative egomaniac for the rest of his life. So, F you Porky Pig for being dumb enough to fall for Daffy's scams despite knowing him your entire life. F you Bugs Bunny for not snuffing out Daffy when you had the chance. And of course, for shamelessly lying to your friends and nearly getting them killed, fuck you Daffy Duck. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments which cartoon brat you want me to tear into next. If there's a specific episode you want me to cover, consider becoming one of my top tier patrons to commission a review for my channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.